And after the break, KASPYMC News brings you the latest in corporate financial fraud.
Olympus Mu 790 SW. Waterproof fun on the flip side. Shockproof too.
Breaking news. Olympus Corporation faces allegations of corporate financial fraud. The company is accused of covering financial losses of over $1.5 billion. It has been revealed that the Japanese electronic manufacturing company paid for more than the market value in several acquisitions of companies outside of its main business line. The assets were then valued at acquisition value rather than market value on Olympus's balance sheet.
Attention was drawn to Olympus's $2.2 billion acquisition of Gyrus, a British medical equipment manufacturer, $687 million of which was paid to a consultant. This amounts to over 30% of the purchase price and is 15 times the industry average, making it the highest service fee of all time.
Michael Woodford, former CEO of Olympus, came forward with suspicion about the company's accounting practices after his internal inquiries were ignored. His internal investigations consequently led to his termination from Olympus.
Former chairman of Olympus, Tsuyoshi Kikukawa, who is under fire for the cover-up, was recently arrested and accused of concealing losses, booking overstated asset write-offs, and falsifying financial statements. After the break, we have exclusive interviews with both Chairman Kikukawa and former CEO Michael Woodford.
I'm here with former Olympus chairman Tsuyoshi Kikukawa. Mr. Kikukawa, what was the motivation behind the decision to engage in financial misrepresentation?
I was trying to do what was in best interest of as many people as possible. I wanted to protect the image of the company. I wanted to protect the shareholders' investments, and I wanted to protect employee jobs.
Who was affected by the action taken?
Originally, we succeeded in protecting the shareholders' investments, but eventually they suffered losses. Also, our shareholders and the employees have lost faith and trust in the company. Many of our senior managers have lost their jobs. Our partnership with other businesses have also been affected.
Do you think the decision you made was ethical?
Yes, my duty as a chairman was to serve the interests of the company. I acted upon my authority and obligations.
Did you manage not to let the immediate short-term goals of your decision override the fundamental long-term objectives of your company?
Our long-term objectives are always sustainable profit and growth. Although, in this instance, the results were not sustainable, we had hoped that we could gain more time to find new ways to grow and create profit by managing certain aspects of the accounting process. At that time, such practices were illegal in Japan, and unfortunately, we were unable to change our practices quickly enough to meet the new standards when they changed.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that interview, Katie. Many have wondered, given the circumstances, how this scandal has come to light after nearly a decade. This issue was revealed by former CEO Michael Woodford in November of 2011 after his termination, exposing one of the largest and longest-running financial scandals in Japanese corporate history.
To get his side of the story, Katie also conducted an interview with Michael Woodford.
Why did you choose to disclose the scandal after your termination instead of when you were still part of the company?
After asking repeatedly to view the auditing records of the company, I was dismissed because of the inquiries. My personal integrity required me not to sacrifice my individual ethics from overriding my career obligations.
The action you chose was right, but do you think going public has negatively impacted the company's reputation?
Absolutely. Of course it damaged the Olympus image in the present, as reflected by the immediate 75% drop in the share price. But unfortunately, to me, it was not a matter of whether to be ethical, but how to be ethical. If the scandal was revealed in the future, it could have caused complete bankruptcy and harm to even more people. I acted so as to not let the immediately important overwhelm the fundamentally important.
Keeping that in mind, do you think, given your situation, you could have governed according to your values?
My natural reaction to this was yes, but the way I was treated tells me that it was not possible. I tried to maintain a good relationship with the management and cooperate in my position at Olympus, but covering up fraud would have required me to destroy my values. As CEO, my priority was to balance both the needs of internal and external parties.
Have you considered going back to Olympus, Mr. Woodford?
I would like to go back to Japan, but not for business purposes. My experience has led me to believe that you have to play the game before you can make the rules. My personal attitude opposes this view.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Woodford. Good luck to you in the future.
Thank you, Katie, for that interview. And now, Amy, financial correspondent, examines the road ahead for Olympus.
Thank you, Katrina. Although this scandal was a disaster for Olympus, they were able to recoup part of their losses by submitting revised financial statements that complied with the regulations. They avoided being delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Olympus has also removed and replaced much of the upper management that was involved in perpetrating the fraud. However, to prevent this from happening again, they need to address the underlying corporate culture which allowed such a scandal to occur in the first place. Given the current circumstances, we anticipate a slow recovery for Olympus, but overall they have handled this situation quite well.
Thank you, Amy. That concludes this edition of KISP YMC News. Thanks for watching.